If Malva Haynes Huson Brown had a bucket list, there's little doubt that she accomplished all, if not most, of her to-do list. Malva had a zest for life and for her work. She was an accomplished writer, reporter, editor, public relations authority, photographer, librarian, and entrepreneur. Add to that, a mother of two.
But she also wanted to be working and to be useful. And I always had that impression of her that, she wanted to be using her time well. And she was a wonderful friend also.
Ruth Laney, whose father Rex worked with Malva back at the Department of Commerce and Industry in the late 1930s. While there, Rex and Malva were asked to create a tourism bureau for Louisiana.
Apparently nobody had ever given much thought to promoting tourism in Louisiana, at least in an official capacity. I'm not sure who gave the orders, but they worked together on the 24th floor of the Capitol, and that was the Tourism Bureau at that time, the two of them.
Malva graduated from Baton Rouge High School in 1933. While there, she wrote for both the yearbook and school paper. Malva knew at an early age that journalism was her calling. She graduated from the LSU Journalism School in 1936. She was one of the first female editors of the Daily Reveille and even interviewed Eleanor Roosevelt when she visited Louisiana. It was while at LSU, Malva met her future husband, Roland T. Huson, who was also an acclaimed journalist and newspaper publisher. The couple owned and published a number of small-town papers in Louisiana, and it was while working for one of those papers, the Clinton Citizen Watchman, where acclaimed sports columnist John Adams first worked under Malva.
She had a great knack for correcting errors, yet at the same time bolstering the confidence of a young writer. I'm eternally grateful to having had Malva as an editor. 50 years later, she's still the best editor I've ever had, and she's very deserving of being inducted into the LSU Hall of Fame.
While Malva's first love was journalism and the written word, she was also attracted to the social aspect of journalism. Her job following graduation from LSU was society editor for the State Times.
She seemed to really enjoy the camaraderie of the newsroom. People yelling, sitting on each other's desks, yelling across the room, just chatting. I got the impression she really enjoyed being a part of that.
Malva's magnetic personality was evident outside of the newsroom as well. Paul Newman and Fonville Winans were just a couple of notables who enjoyed spending time with Malva. But it was her husband and business partner, Roland, that Malva would travel the country with, writing educational stories and letters to young children who subscribed to their newsletter, a business model that was about 70 years before its time.
They outfitted a car with like sleeping berths, and the kids were like 2 and 4, something like that. And they started a newsletter, and people could subscribe to it. And then in every state they went to, they would visit the Capitol, and they would learn about the history of that state or that city. And they would, they took a typewriter and a ditto machine along with the 2 kids and whatever else they needed to travel all around the country. And in every state, they would stop and send out a newsletter.
Roland and Malva's first journeys together were during World War II, when they flew with Civil Air Patrol searching for enemy submarines in the Gulf of Mexico. Just one more adventure in the life and times of Malva Haynes Huson Brown and her husband Roland, who, by the way, was a 1995 inductee into the Manship Hall of Fame. Malva died in 2012 at the age of 96 after an abundant and active life, one that still inspires many today. Congratulations to Malva Haynes Huson Brown, a 2015 inductee in the LSU Manship Hall of Fame.